It is lights out and away we go. Hello, racers. Welcome to episode 19 of the Harder Soft Formula One podcast. I am your host, as always, Adrian Huff, and I'm joined by my co-host, RJ McCullough. What's up, RJ?
Adrian, wow, unbelievable race, unbelievable weekend. But, you know, as producer of this show, week in and week out, it's pained me to have to do the show notes and write in there, RJ does another punishment, RJ drinks this, RJ does that. But the tide, my friend, the tide is turning. So it gives me great pleasure. It gives me great pleasure to say to you, you have to eat Carlos Sainz's favorite food, and I'll explain why you're doing it, why it's a punishment, but eat that fucking burger. Do it.
Yes. I've got shall we say from where it is? I guess we have to because it kind of ties into what I'm about to do. I've got McDonald's. Oh, it's blurred. It's like we're on TV. It's like, oh, we can't show the actual product. There we go. It's McDonald's. And you said you wanted me to eat a burger because that kind of plays into the diet thing. But also, I am not a fan of McDonald's. Big surprise, I can tell. But I'm more of I don't know. McDonald's is like out of every fast food place to go through, no matter what time of day it is, I will never go to McDonald's. So this was a special occasion. And since I'm not a fan of McDonald's, I specifically don't like their burgers are like probably the least offensive thing to me, but I hate like their chicken and stuff. So I thought, yes, Carlos Sainz's favorite food is a hamburger, so I got a hamburger. But why not make the most disgusting creation you can at McDonald's and make a McGangbang?
Oh.
So I got a McChicken too.
Into yourself.
Yeah, I want this to suffer. I want to suffer. I want this to hurt me. So I'm gonna mute myself while I crinkle all this paper to get this ready, and then I will start consuming this disgusting monstrosity.
Well, I want to see the finished product or the put together product before you start eating it. But yeah, I'll go. You do that. I'll start going through the updated standings. Because some interesting changes for us this week. But yeah, usually we do alcohol stuff, but all I could find for Sainz was that he like non-alcoholic sponsors and stuff that he had. Nothing about drinking alcohol. He's generally private with his private life, which makes sense. But that does not look good. A little mayo there for those just listening, or a lot of mayo, I should say. I hope that's mayo. So yeah, this week, as we usually say, the reason that this is all happening, we have our F1 Haas League, Harder Soft League. So going into this race, Adrian was ahead. He's been ahead all season. He had a dominating lead off the start. He was ahead by 22 points going into this race. Now, in this race, his top three guys, Max Verstappen, 6 points. Charles Leclerc, 12 points. Lando Norris, 8 points. And then Magnussen 1, Vettel 2. So you had a grand total of 29 points. Just a piss poor performance from Team Adrian this week. And then on my end, Lewis Hamilton, 16 points. Carlos Sainz, 25 points. Sergio Perez, 18 points. Fernando Alonso, 10 points. Mick Schumacher, 4 points. Mick Schumacher.
What?
So that's a total of 73. 73 for RJ this week. Just
73?
And that's just a perfect margin of 44 points. And it's just a little serendipity because, as we know, Lewis Hamilton, number 44. So as you were leading by 22, now, my friend, I am leading by 22, 539 to 517. So get your passport ready, because I'm not going to Atlanta.
Dude, I'm blown away right now. Like I knew you won this week by far, but I did not think you were gonna get ahead of me by 44 points. That is Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst loss in the world having to go to Toronto, Toronto. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yes, congrats to you. Your team absolutely crushed it this week. Once again, I feel like I've been carried this entire season by Max and Charles, but they also both have had their issues. So yes, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. Because I mean, at this point, as much as it pains me, I have very little faith that Charles is going to keep bringing me points the rest of the season. So You could like completely flip the rest of the season and just take off ahead of me.
Well, think about my team and myself. We may start slow, but we finish strong.
Yeah.
So look out. Now,
You
sorry.
No,
Anything you wanted to add to that?
I was gonna say you took Will Buxton's advice. You went fast and you finished.
I did. If you finish ahead of the other cars, you will start in a better position after qualifying. So, would you rather eat this monstrosity right now, or would you rather detail me and our listeners as to the shit show you've been undergoing? So you've just got a double shit show on your hands right now. Which one do you want to lead off with?
I will.
You can do them both at the same time. It'll kind of make for a funny image.
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
All
So, let me show you this. I've seen this on the internet multiple times. I completely forgot to ask for no mayo, so it's extra disgusting. But look at this. Look at that, dude. That is. Oh, it's blurring it. It's like it's porn. It's blurring it. We're not in Japan. You
I don't
don't
know
know
what kind of porn you're watching, buddy.
Yes, I will start diving into this disgusting creation later in just a minute, but I'll try to keep this brief. But you know, we've got a podcast. I've talked to you about this in detail. I've talked to pretty much everybody in my life about this, just because it's been crazy. I'll keep it brief. So I have a personal YouTube account. I've been using it for 11 years now. I created it in June of 2011. Started it when I was 14. No, yeah, 14 years old. So I've been posting and just creating content for like years on and off. I mean, I'm not like successful or anything, but I've put thousands of hours into this channel over the years, and now I'm sort of using it to like post my stand-up clips, but it's a super important thing to me. And I also have AdSense on that account. My bank's connected to it. Anyways, Friday, this past Friday for us, that would have been July 1st. So first practice, I was driving around, and I got an alert on my phone, a security alert. And I pulled over immediately. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. My first thought, because I get those sometimes when you try to log in on our joint account, naturally, because it's like somebody's logging in a completely different country. So I always approve it. But this told me that this was my account. I'm like, I don't think I gave RJ that login. So yeah, literally I got the first notification and they just kept pouring in, and by literally less than 2 minutes from me getting the first alert to me being able to pull over to look at my phone, my account was gone. They somehow got my password. They took off two-factor authentication. They took off my phone number. They took off my email, and then they took off all my videos. They changed my profile picture. They changed the name of my channel. And I guess they just assumed that I was going to just give it up, or that I guess they were hoping it was inactive. I don't know. I did get to the bottom of like what caused this. It was a virus on my computer, which has been fixed now. But yes, it has just been so unbelievably stressful because my bank account was attached to my Google account. And it's just been a horrible experience. But I want to give a shout out to Team YouTube. I exhausted all options. The recovery process did not work for me. So I tweeted at them, and miraculously, they DM'd me back and they helped me. They didn't just immediately hand it back to me, obviously. I had to go through so many forms, but thankfully, as of it would have been yesterday morning. Yes. So July 4th. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Yesterday was the 4th. I'm so stupid. Sunday night. After Silverstone, that evening, after everything was said and done, I finally got it back. So it has been extremely stressful. What was funny is that when I first lost the account, I rushed home, and somehow I was still logged in. Like they had changed everything, but that's what saved me, was that they didn't sign out of all accounts. So my little ass was just here. I logged in. I'm still in my account. So I got their phone number. I got their email that they used, and I saw that they were from Russia. Fuck you, Russia.
Yeah,
You're not
fucking
good enough
Russia.
for Formula One. You're not good
Fucking
enough for my
Mazepin.
channel either. Yeah, it's Mazepin.
All right, now why don't you just calm your nerves a little bit
Yeah.
and just take a bite of that nice, tasty burger and let that seep into your veins. While I'm kind of putting a few pieces together here while I'm hearing this story, because I also received an interesting notification on my phone this weekend, and it was from you actually. And I'm wondering if this is a coincidence that these two things coincided, because this notification I received from you was a video, and in this video, you were boxed in by some old lady in a car, and she was like, and you were taking a video, and she's like, "Tell them what you said. Tell them what you said." And you're like, "I didn't say anything, lady." And she goes, and then right away you go, "I called her a bitch. I called her a bitch." So, did these two stories? Did you take out your anger on this poor old lady?
Yes and no. So, we're going off the rails, but I love it. I had a Karen encounter the day after I lost my channel. So I was still, I had DM'd with YouTube, but it was still not positive that I was going to get it back. And I wasn't like, sobbing, but I was depressed. I was upset just knowing just like, wow, all that work down the drain, whatever. So I already wasn't in a good mood. And my work, the job that I'm currently with right now, we're in the off season and I'm door dashing. So I was taking an order, not in the town that I live in. I DoorDash in a much busier area. And I'm walking the food up to these people's house and I hear just chirping from the street. And it's this old lady and she's like, "You don't have to be going so fast." And she was like, "You were going at least 40 and it was 25. I was not going 40, by the way. I was maybe going 30, maybe
60.
30.
Oh.
I was going 10 over at the max. But I've never got a speeding ticket in my life. I've never been in an accident, knock on wood. I'm a good driver. I know that. I don't text and drive. I don't put people's lives in danger. Yeah. So I was just
protest too much.
And she's just like, I'm sick of it. I'm like, I am not dealing with this. I'm just like, okay. I just kept saying, "Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am." And she would not stop. I'm trying to take the picture of this food. I'm trying to give it to these people. And as I'm turning around, if you've seen a video of Karens on the internet, you know that they love to like get one last little, like, gotcha little stab in before they leave. So she did that. I forget what she said. She said something to me about being a bad driver. Then she pulled away and I very calmly yelled, "Mind your business, you goddamn bitch." So she didn't like that.
Very calmly. I'm sure.
Yeah, very, very calmly, of course.
Very nicely.
Of course, I want to remind everybody listening, this lady does not live here. She doesn't even live on this street. She followed me and decided to tell me this. So I'm like, whatever. I get in my car. I'm starting to back out of their driveway. She blocks me in with her car. And I'm like, when this happens, I'm like, fuck me. I'm about to be on Facebook or TikTok or something. And that was when I started. Or first I got out and was just like, I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Can I?" And then she's like taking a picture of my license plate. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to let you leave, but I'm going to take a picture of your license plate and then I'm going to make a phone call." Like she's going to call the fucking cops or something. Or like she has the authority to keep me trapped in these people's driveway. And I was like, "Okay, ma'am." Okay. And that's when I started recording. Thankfully, she pulled off and it was just the icing on the cake to my very stressful weekend. But thankfully that evening I got the channel back. So all is well. I have not heard from this lady, and big surprise, I haven't heard from the cops. So
there you go. Take that bite. Well, I guess while we're airing personal, vendettas, I don't know if you saw this clip, but Chris Broussard on ESPN was talking about Kevin Durant maybe getting traded. Toronto's one of the options, and he makes this wild assertion that people in Toronto, African Americans, don't like coming to Toronto because the insinuation was that they're treated differently and they're not treated well in Toronto, which obviously Canada is known for being very accepting of anything. And the icing on the cake of that whole thing is you live in America.
Yeah.
You cannot be saying these things about other countries. never mind Canada, but other countries when you live in America. So I won't go too far into that, but we were airing some grievances. So I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick.
Yeah. What was the name of that commentator?
Chris Broussard. He looks like a Brussels sprout.
Yeah, I saw that clip on your story, and it took me a second to even understand what he was even talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I'm a white man. I have nothing. I have no real opinions as far as the world is concerned, and that's fine. But even though he is also an African American man, that seems like an outlandish assumption to make about an entire country. And also, the Raptors would seem like an awesome team.
Yeah, it was his favorite team growing up, and like we have good assets that we could trade for him, so it's like would make sense. And yeah, we're like a team on the rise that he would fit into well. Blah blah blah. Same thing with Kawhi. That happened with Kawhi. But anyways, that's beside the point. We'll start getting into F1. We'll ease our way into F1 with a little. Oh, I think you're frozen there for a sec. Oh yeah, you're frozen in a nice. Oh, there we go. I can't wait to show you the screenshot of your face frozen because it was great.
Oh no! Did I have food in my mouth?
No, you're not. Wow.
Oh my god! That'll probably make it into the cut too. God damn it!
I'm leaving it in. You gotta leave it in.
First, so I get the ugly freeze frame, and I'm having to eat a McGangbang.
Absolutely.
By the way, it's not good.
No, I wouldn't imagine it would be. So easing into the F1, the biggest sports podcast in the world, I think. You could say that. Pardon my take. It's Barstool Podcast. They on the rating in the rating systems, I guess they're at least number one. It's one of my favorite podcasts. They had Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen on last week, or they aired the interview last week. It was amazing. It was hilarious. Very like down to earth and like satirical. I'll post a few of my favorite moments from it. But yeah, they made fun of Christian Horner pretty much the whole time, which was fantastic.
Would you say he's your boss or coach, Christian Horner? What is that officially? Is he your boss?
He's my best friend and my mate.
Well,
and we,
That's what I was going to ask because does he ever look at you, Max, and you're like, dude, chill out? Like, you love me a little too much?
Not yet.
Sometimes.
To Checo, yeah.
Checo knows
but,
that.
Checo is just like, he's from South America, so of course, I think that's quite a natural behavior for Checo. So, yeah, we do have to calm him down a few times.
Yeah, Checo's like, wait, are you about to try to kiss Max? What's going on here, Christian?
I always have to calm him down, because when there are a lot of cameras around and they're like, get too close. Especially my first date with Red Bull, it was a bit shocking.
Max also, I don't know if it was wasn't really breaking news, but he alluded to that he's going to be in Netflix Drive to Survive the next season, and he talked about why he doesn't like it. So I'll post a few of those clips.
Well, I'm not gonna be too negative about it now because in the meantime, of course, I've talked to the people who are in charge and who are running the show. So I think we actually came to a good understanding for the future. But up until now, that's why, of course, last year I was not really involved. I think there were a few things, where I was not really happy with, and especially, faking rivalries between drivers. That for me is a tough one because, of course, it did wonders in America, but also I think sometimes they portray a few drivers differently to how they actually are, and then of course the people who are new to F1 think, oh, this guy is a bit of a dick or whatever, right? Which in real life he's not. But having said that, like I just said before, I think for the future we came to a good understanding of how we can work together. So I'm sure in the next one you will see a little bit more of me.
But that was amazing. So check that out, people, if you haven't. And then another really funny moment was the Lando and Danny moment. They had.
Oh my God.
So hold on one sec. To break down what happened here because I didn't understand those. So they were doing like a race down the straight, the opening straight at Silverstone on these things called space hoppers. They're like bouncy balls that you kind of hold on to and bounce. Everyone used them as kids. If you saw them, you'd know. But anyways, they were on that. They start. Danny's obviously about to win, and he's playing it up to the crowd. So Lando, his competitive spirit kicks in. He grabs it, starts sprinting towards the finish line, and Danny just decides to pick his up and smash Lando right in the face.
It's classic.
Just just a huge ball right to the face, and it was hilarious. It was amazing. I loved it. I watched it about 50 times, and every time I laughed like a little kid. So that was great. Yeah, those were the pre-race moments that I enjoyed this week.
It looked like he was like maybe trying to like hit like the big ball that Lando was holding, but he just like blindly swung and just like clotheslined his face.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard. And it was the best move by Daniel all weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's dropping like a stone. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah,
I have some interesting thoughts about Daniel, but we can get into that. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, we'll get into. We're not gonna necessarily do our usual like go through each lap and all that. We're gonna kind of just go through. There's so many big moments that I want to. He's taking a bite and he's not enjoying it.
That bite was all onions and mayonnaise.
That's interesting. All right, so we're gonna get to the race. We have to, I guess, get a little serious for the first moments of the race. Right off the start, personal level, Lewis Hamilton, great start, got ahead, got up from 5th to 3rd, but obviously none of that mattered. Guan Yu Zhou had a horrible crash, like ended upside down. All you could see on the screen was from the top right corner of the screen, you just saw his car upside down going across the screen. And we were looking online for about, I don't know, 20-ish minutes trying to find out like what happened. And the longer you wait, the longer, similar to the Grosjean situation, the longer you wait, the more worried you get, because it went from like, oh shit, like I'm sure he's okay, but I hope he's fine, whatever, and to, oh wait, like something might really be wrong here. But yeah, his car, and then they finally started showing the replays, and they showed about a million of them, which understandable. They don't want to show in case he did pass or something, he was seriously injured. But yeah, essentially there was like Lando Norris kind of clipped George Russell a bit. George went into Guan Yu Zhou's edge, and then Zhou flipped, went upside down, slid, I don't know, what do you think, like 100 yards? I don't know, a long way, and then flipped again into the tire barrier and into the mesh between the tire barrier and the crowd. Really, really scary moments. And I mean, I don't want to make light about it at all. But the videos from the crowd were sick. Like, holy shit, there were some, like the people that are sitting right there were like, holy shit, some of those videos are unbelievable. But yeah, so thankfully he was okay, like surprisingly okay. Albon was more injured than him, and he didn't seem like his crash didn't look a 100th as nearly as bad. He kind of just hit the wall, from what I saw. But I think it's the main takeaway is, and I'll let you talk in a minute. The main takeaway is like the halo is an absolute lifesaver. It literally saved his life. There's no, like, he was going upside down. It would have just been his head against the ground the entire time. Literally saved his life, if not one of the massive hits he took against the wall. And then I don't know if you saw in F2, there was Roy Nissany.
Yes, dude.
He got hit. The Rebel driver just kind of came right in and went like right over top and right on his head. So that's 2 lives that were saved by the halo this weekend. So I know people didn't like it when it first came in because of how it looks, but holy shit. I mean, I think, like, would you agree that's the worst crash, like, visually that we've seen since Grosjean?
Oh, yeah. Since Grosjean, for sure.
Like in F1.
Yeah, absolutely. That F2 crash, that shit is wild. That guy that pushed him off track should be fucking banned, bro.
That was
like
insane.
he is a dirty driver, but there's an F1 podcast.
It's like
I know.
That was like some people do in the online lobbies. He just fucking
yeah. And then karma, he just ran right back into the motherfucker as he should, which he couldn't control it. It's not like he meant to, but like, oh my god, that crash pissed me off. But yeah, Zhou Guan Yu's crash was just unbelievable. Like, and yes, not to make light of this incredibly scary situation, but there was one video, all the angles are like sick to look at, but there was one of a guy in the front videoing him coming towards him, and it is just like, I'm not gonna say it's cool, but it's sick.
It's like you don't see that. It's something like when you see in a movie. But the guy, like one of the main videos that you see, there's a guy with a camera that you see him running up the stairs.
Yes.
And that's like one of the main F1 photographers, and he got like the cool shot that's going around, like the professional shot of the car coming in. So he must have all those people, like, they have the rest of their life I mean, obviously, again, we're not trying to make light of it in any way,
No.
but he is okay, so I think it's fine to talk about. But like those people for the rest of their life, they have like that would be such a cool experience. And I hate to say it, but like you don't root for crashes, but like we all kind of like in the back of our mind do want to see a little bit of
Something
stuff like that. You know, not that bad, obviously, but you know, once in a while, it's like everyone. Let's put it this way: the clip of him that crash is probably going to be the most viewed clip on social media that we've had all year. Just because like people are, it's like when there's a car crash on the highway, everyone kind of slows down to see it, you know. So it's just human nature, but yeah, wild scene.
It's when it first happened.
1 second.
Okay, there you are.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying when the crash first happened, I remember texting you because when we first saw that replay, I was like, dude, George turned into him.
Yeah.
But of course, with hindsight and looking back, I can confidently say, in my humble opinion, it was not George Russell's fault. Pierre he pushed up too hard, which, you know, it's a racing incident. It's the start of the race. You know, I'm not gonna say like fuck you, Pierre, you're a shitty driver, not anything like that. But Pierre did push up in the middle of him and then clipped the back left
there was a gap
Mercedes wheel.
When he went for the gap, there was a gap. You know.
Yeah, and God, it's mental, and it's interesting that Albon actually had worse injuries than Zhou Guanyu did, which is crazy. That just shows just like how specific, like it just like something so minor can just take you out, and just how precious life in general is, and how on the limit these guys are, and how much in danger they put themselves in at all times. But I will say absolutely. To be in the audience right where the crash happened, it obviously it would be incredible, but one thing, especially about F1 cars, that scares the shit out of me is carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Because that's why like so many people on Reddit will be like, "Oh, I got this debris from the track. I got this," and everybody's like, "It's like, bro, like if you touched just the broken off part of that, you will have little bits of metal in your hand for the rest of your life." It's just carbon fiber scares the absolute shit out of me.
Scares Max Verstappen too.
It should.
Now it will. I mean, he tried to drive right over. Like I just tried to drive straight over it. Well,
one last thing is that thank God there was no casualties from the driver's point. But
yeah, we wouldn't be talking about it like this.
No. Oh God, absolutely not. I sent a clip to you, or a picture, that there were, I don't know if they were photographers or marshals, but there were guys in between the catch fence and the tire barrier, and they were literally like 6 feet to the left. And I know they started to move out of the way, but I mean, like, you can't predict something's going to happen. You like accidents happen. So it's just like, if he had somehow gone a little bit farther to the left, this could have been not even like from a driver injury perspective, like a innocent civilian potential. Like, just the thought of that is just like, Formula One has made incredible strides towards safety, but I just hope they're not done, because I mean, that was still really close, just from the outsider's perspective. So you're right, though. It's the craziest crash we've seen since Grosjean.
Yeah, it is incredible. Literally, as far as we know, everyone at the end of the day walked away unscathed. But let's talk a little bit about George Russell, because after watching it all back, he went from like a nice moment to kind of like a moment that didn't make him look pretty good. So yeah, like he got knocked out of the race. His car I think the car would have been out either way, no matter what. They put it on a lift or whatever, so it was done. But he gets out right away, runs to the fence, jumps on the wall. I don't really know what he was planning on doing, but it's just a nice, like, that his first thought was to run over and try and help, maybe get more people to show that it's something serious is going on, because not everyone maybe was looking at the back of the field, blah blah blah, or midfield, whatever. So that was nice. But then, like, you do that, it is nice, but like, it's just understood that you're not going to go back in your car. Like, that's like those are the rules. Even Toto Wolff said after like that, those are the rules. Like, and and Mercedes and Red Bull, they'll always complain if they can. So, like, I don't know. And he was like, it was the first kind of like thing out of his mouth instead of really talking about zhou. It was that, and that kind of overshadowed what was a nice moment. But I don't know. It wasn't the best look for George, but it's also his home race. He just got knocked out in the first turn as the streak of top fives ended. But I don't know. Like, yeah. What did you think of the whole overall Russell thing? Because, yeah, the crash wasn't his fault. He did run in to help, but then he was kind of sour grapes after.
Yeah, I mean, props to him. I know a lot of accounts came out from people, firsthand accounts, saying just how he's on I don't know the exact name of this because I'm an idiot, but he is on like some sort of board of directors for driver safety. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. I mean, of course, that's got to be like his priority at all times is just safety, but it almost undid his gesture because he's like, look, I got out of the car to help him. I didn't get out of the car because I couldn't bring it back around. I got out of the car to help him. But it's like you still got brought in. And Crofty said it during the broadcast. You can't get any outside assistance whatsoever, regardless of the situation.
Yeah.
So I did think that was a little, but I mean, like you said, it's his home race. His streak ended. It sucks. I get that. But I thought it was just a little poor form. It almost felt too much from a Mercedes driver, you know?
Yeah.
But to be fair, it's the team usually that's doing all the complaining. You're not used to the driver.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. But so that all cleared its way out. It kind of sucked a little bit for, as I mentioned, Lewis and Max because they had really good race starts, but they reset the grid, which at first I was like, that doesn't make sense. They're already past, like they're most of the way through the first lap. There have been a lot of moves, but when they explained the first, I guess you kind of explained the whole field hadn't made it through the first sector. So, but fair enough. So they're put back to their original spots. They restart the race. Sainz pulled ahead, but even it's weird that he had his first race win because he did make that obvious mistake. Like he let Max, went off track while he was leading, and then Max passed. Max was up for a little while. Like looked like it might just be Max's day. But then, as we mentioned, Max picked up carbon. He just decided to drive straight over it, as he said. I guess he said it was too late to swerve out of the way. So fair enough on that. But after that, then it was the two Ferraris and then Lewis, I guess. And Lewis was just like hammering in fastest laps, cutting into the Ferrari lead like every lap. And from my perspective, there's a few laps there where I thought Lewis was going to win. I'm not going to lie. Like I was very excited. I was like standing up for like 10, 15 laps. It was very exciting for a few moments.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was literally the exact same place as you. Like for like 10 laps.
Yeah.
There was like Lewis kept doing the purple sectors and Charles was ahead, but Lewis was catching him and Charles had to pit. And of course I was like, dude, we are literally seeing like last year again, Lewis hunting
Ferrari
down
was
Charles.
Messing with like not letting Charles go past Sainz when he was way faster. Clearly, there's like some next lap, like insane. They were letting Lewis, like they were almost handing the race to Lewis at that point. And then, of course, one of the Alpines just has to mess it up for Lewis.
Yeah,
it's not Alonso to talk on.
It's Ocon.
He just can't get his car back to the pits. Yellow flags come out. But this is where it goes from, oh God, I don't know what that was, but that just did not look good. Whatever, it just came in your mouth.
Lettuce.
Oh, lettuce. Oof.
Mayonnaise covered lettuce.
I want to see that again. So, yeah. So the yellow flag comes out and everyone goes into the pits. But for some odd reason, Ferrari only pits Sainz and leaves Charles out on hard tires and everyone else going on soft tires. Like they said they didn't have time to pit both of them, which is obviously stupid because it was under a safety car. They still would have been faster. And if you don't think Charles can make up 4 seconds, then what are you doing? Or 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever, how long a pit stop takes, unless you're Mercedes. But I don't know. Like, even if that's true, like, why would they, like, they're going for the, clearly everyone cares more about the Drivers' Championship than the Constructors' Championship. Like, nobody cares that Mercedes won the Constructors last year. As a fan of the sport, everyone cares that Max was the champion last year. It's like Charles has clearly his only realistic chance of them winning the Drivers' Championship. Why on earth, even if they were only going to pit one of them, why on earth would they pit Sainz and not pit Charles? Like, if that was their strategy, like, you could see after the race that Binotto was giving a finger wag to Charles. I think Charles is rightfully pissed off, and it's happened. Like, he could have won so many more races this year, and as other teams are catching up now, like, he could have had a gap that other people had to chase, and now he might be cooked. Like, I don't know. First, before we get into what happened after they came out of the pits, like, I don't know. What do you think of what the hell? Like, what's Ferrari doing?
I actually read an interesting thought about Ferrari. Not even necessarily a thought. I think this is just straight up fact. That Ferrari is one of the only teams that has a shit ton of internal politics happening, and so they said it very, very, very smart, in my opinion, that Mercedes and Red Bull, they show up. Their main goal that weekend is to have one of their two drivers win at all costs,
right.
And to get maximum points. Ferrari seems to have two teams, and I actually did a little bit of reading. If you go back to the Michael Schumacher days, is that I forget the name of his teammate. Let me see before I make a fool of myself. Excuse me. But I'll find his name in a minute. But the only, like, apparently, allegedly, the only reason that Schumacher was able to dominate so much during his years at Ferrari was that him and his teammate just had sort of like an agreement, and they sort of had like the team locked down. And that's apparent. That's like the only time
all the
in
upgrades
history.
will go to Schumacher.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was definitely understood, and it is the only time that Ferrari has ever really had that. I mean, even Seb and Charles, I mean, it just they're making decisions that make no sense, and
it's
yeah,
like they're notorious for it. Like,
yep.
It's just not. It'd be one thing if it just happened, they made a mistake, but like year after year after year, they just can't do the strategies. Whereas like Red Bull and Mercedes, like maybe Mercedes didn't have the best, but generally like they're on point. Especially Red Bull are on point with their strategies. Like, how does Ferrari still do this?
I think it has to do with the two sides. So when Red Bull or Mercedes win, like let's use an example, like George or Sergio is like, if they're asking a question, like if like let's like hypothetically George is faster than Lewis. If George is like notably faster than Lewis, they're gonna say go.
Right.
Like no question, because they know but
it's their best chance. Yeah.
When Carlos, there's the Carlos garage and the Carlos like guys on the pit wall, and then there's the Charles garage, and apparently it is like a very toxic environment that the Carlos guys love Carlos, and if Carlos gets fucked over by Charles, then they like completely lose it, and it's just like a disaster. And I've tried to find it, and I sent it to you. There was apparently a lot of Charles pit crew did not show up for the big group photo because they were pissed. They were fucking furious.
It should have been an easy Charles win.
And like you said, they didn't have time to pit him under the virtual safety car, but every other team would have done that. Oh, so sorry.
You're good.
Every other team would have done that, but when you are making decisions in 2 seconds, you don't have time to say, hey, is this good with you? And for this other person to be like, no, let's not do that. Here's like any sort of debate over which driver needs priority. And not even driver, like just like the right decision that needs to be made for the team. If there's, then they can't get it, and they're having internal struggles.
It's crazy. And it's crazy too that like
Yeah.
There's that, which like that does definitely provide a lot of insight for like how they don't make the proper decisions into the team. Like even with their own drivers, like Charles is like pissed at his radio guy all the time. And this race we saw Sainz taking it into his own hands and just being like, no, guys, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to try and back up everyone else and let Charles pull ahead on hards when I'm on softs. Like I'm just going to go for it.
Yep.
The instruction is to give 10 car lengths to Charles and some breathing space within 10, Carlos.
But guys, I'm under pressure from Hamilton. Please don't ask these things. Please. Stop inventing. I'm under pressure also.
Like, I don't know. I think it was really good for Sainz to do that, and that's literally what got him his first win. He would have had no chance if he would have, because then the other guys could have just passed him. Like, it's just insane that, yeah, there's that internal turmoil, and then it's starting to, it all obviously comes down from the top, and then, yeah, there's that turmoil, and it's clearly leaked down to the drivers now too, and they're throwing away, which I'm not gonna say it could have been an easy season for them, but like they should at least be at the top right now. Mm-hmm. Like they should be in first place.
There is no reason for there to be as big of a gap as there is in both sides. Like the fact that Charles is not second or even close to Max is a fucking joke. It's
insane. Like we'll do the standings in a minute, but it's sad. Like it makes me sad for Charles because he deserves it. So anyways, back to the race, after the safety car, we had maybe 10, 15 of the best laps of Formula One racing I've certainly ever seen in my entire life. Like I can't imagine anything that could be better than that unless it was like, I mean, Carlos was pulled away a bit, so it was 2, 3, 4 battling, but oh my God, that was unbelievable. Like Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc just going at it. The moment I said this to you, I rewatched it earlier. The moment when Perez and Leclerc kind of pull each other off track a little bit, and then Hamilton comes in from behind, and just like the announcing on it, just so perfect. I forget what it was like, and here comes Hamilton or something. Yep. It was just like unbelievable.
Perez on the inside, Charles Leclerc gives him just enough space. Can Perez squeeze past? They're going wheel to wheel towards Vale now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Leclerc has that inside line. Perez goes off the track, cuts the chicane. Off goes Leclerc. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff coming out of the final corner.
And obviously he got past. He didn't have the speed to keep them off, but just unbelievable. And then Charles on hards did a overtake. Lewis had the inside line, and Charles went around him on hard tires with a messed up front wing and pulled it off, like an impossible overtake. I don't remember the names of the corners, but like one of the best overtakes I've ever seen. Just unbelievable racing, like so close, but so clean at the same time. Unbelievable. It was great. I think. Like I have a couple of questions for you, but in general, like what was that? That's got to be one of the better. That's definitely the best race this season, but that's one of the best races I've ever seen, I'd say.
Oh my God, yes. And it's. I mean, a safety car can absolutely fuck up a race leader's like gap, and it can fuck up his chances of winning, obviously. But it does bring like a lot of excitement, and I think Silverstone was already interesting enough with the start, but with just those last few laps, it was electric. Like some of the greatest racing that we've definitely seen this year, for sure, if not like in the past few seasons. And it's why I will always prefer racing circuits to street circuits, because we would have not gotten any of the racing we got this past Sunday if it wasn't for it being at Silverstone, because you can't do this type of racing on street circuits. I mean, I wish there was only like a couple, or there should only be like 1 or 2, but that's a completely different issue. But you can't get like this type of racing, even in like the first, when on the restart, there was on that one of those first corners, both Ferraris and both Red Bulls, 4 cars were taking one corner.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally like squeaked, like as much as a grown man can squeak. I was squealing, like, oh my God. Like
I was like a little kid for like an hour, just like the mixture of the excitement of Lewis maybe winning, and then just that's the best like front of the pack racing we've seen. Just unbelievable. But yeah, I guess we should say Carlos Sainz in his 150th Grand Prix takes his first pole for his career and his first career race win. So an amazing weekend for him. But his teammate Charles, like I said, his ability to like battle, it's unbelievable. Like anyways, I was distracted by something else, but like it's unbelievable. I don't know if he's like, would you put him up there with Max, and Max is a little more aggressive, but like Charles, I think is maybe like top of the pecking order now in terms of best strategic, like on track strategic battling. Like he's very clean, but he takes it right to the limit and he pulls it off almost every time. Like other than Imola, which wasn't even really a battle, he just kind of messed up. Like all year with him and Max, he's been great, and then him with Lewis and Perez, even though he ended up behind them, but he had hard tires and a messed up front wing. Like where would you put him? Because I'd say Max was probably the best at that.
Yeah.
Like that overtakes.
Charles 100% would have taken first or second today had it not been for the damage that he took and for the fucking stupid strategy choice to keep him on the hards. Yeah, Charles is at the top of his game right now. He is like better than he's ever been, and Ferrari is absolutely fucking it up. And there will always be one coherent one. I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Let me just start over. I will always be first and foremost a Red Bull fan, but I fluctuate like my likings of certain teams. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, it's always Red Bull, but I really like Ferrari. Sometimes it's like particularly with the drivers like Lando or Lewis, but God, I'm just so furious at Ferrari. I was ready for the first couple of races. I'm like, if Charles completely wipes Max out this season, I won't be salty. I'll be a little disappointed, but like he deserves it. Like that was my mindset. Like I feel like that was everybody's mindset. Everybody wants to see Ferrari win except Ferrari.
Yeah.
And that became extremely apparent when Binotto himself said after the race that they're not fighting for the championship.
Yeah. So like we were never expected to fight. Like
about?
It's an insane comment.
Dude, I was like livid when I read that. I was like leaning in. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like it is brain dead. It is so brain dead. And it's so obvious that he's just saying that because they've been royally fucking up. You mean to tell me in fucking Bahrain that in his head he wasn't like, oh, we're totally fighting for this championship this year? Bullshit.
This keeps up. Monza is going to be very, very interesting. They might get booed.
Oh my god,
they might just get a chorus of boos at Monza because it's a temperamental crowd, you could say. But
absolutely. The last thing that I'll say about Ferrari, because God, I'm so angry for Charles, is that moment, the finger wag.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I can't imagine being Charles.
Yeah.
I understand Formula One politics and all of that, but a team principal that doesn't how could he, like, he could have put a hand on the shoulder. He could have been like, look, I'm so sorry. We're doing everything we can to fix this. You, like, obviously they know how the internal workings of Ferrari are. They are Ferrari, but he chose to instead humiliate him. And I'm sure it was like, he was probably like, listen, you're not going to say anything bad about the team and you're going to be happy for Carlos today.
That's exactly.
But that is still just like so fucked up, dude.
Yeah. It's
because
up.
I love Carlos. I really, really like Carlos, but was he good enough today for me to say he totally deserved to win? No.
Right.
But that does not mean that he's not a race winner. Absolutely. He's deserved to win. Did you see the comparison photos between Gasly's first win, Ocon's first win, and Sainz's first win?
No, I didn't.
You know how, so anytime a driver wins, the team, they always climb the fence and they're like, yeah. Gasly, there's like the entire team. Same with Ocon. Ferrari, there was like 5 or 6 people at most.
Oh,
and
no.
it's such a small group. And you can probably put the picture in.
Yeah, I was going to say, send it to me. I'll put it in. That's crazy.
I will. It's so small that a McLaren pit crew member is cheering for him. Probably an old, like, someone who used to work with Sainz, who's probably super excited for him.
Of course.
But that is like that is like some of the most depressing, sad shit, dude. It just broke my heart. Like it just I don't know. The whole weekend was just like such a downer for Ferrari fans. Like I am like if you are diehard Ferrari, I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's just been a big deflating balloon since after the first month of the season. So yeah, after Sainz, we had Perez and Hamilton rounding out the podium. I don't know. I was kind of thinking. Tell me what you think. Like I thought Lewis could have been a little bit more aggressive, to be honest. Like I think maybe like Perez and Leclerc were kind of bumping into each other, and we're kind of. And obviously that's been shown that that's a little bit allowed this year. Like you're allowed to do a little bit of rubbins racing, as they say. I don't know, Lewis. Even at the start, like he kind of just let Lando go by, and it's like in the past he's always had the car that like, oh, I know, I'll just be patient and safe, and then I'll be able to always catch up and pass. But I don't know. I would like to see him now. Oh, sorry, Bogey Spark.
Bogey.
One sec.
Oh, star. My star. We interrupt this program for a bogey break. Bogey is brought to you by the PGA Tour and RJ. Also, you can hear my dog barking. We're professional.
Crazy girl. Yeah, she want to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just like, I'd like to see him be a little more aggressive now that he obviously doesn't have the fastest car. It's getting up there, which is nice. It's nice that he got another podium. But yeah, I'd like to see him kind of put his elbows out a little once in a while. And I know whenever he does it, people always, where's Lewis Hamilton? But they do the same thing to Max now. Like that's just what happens when you're good.
Sure.
And it would have been, because there was, like I said, a moment where it looked like he was going to win, and he didn't do anything wrong necessarily, but he had not a great restart on the softs, and then just never really pushed for the win after that point, after they had the bad pit stop. So, yeah, what did you think?
When they like, you can immediately tell when a pit stop is not like perfect, and it wasn't even like the worst pit stop in the world, but it was literally just enough for him to just like slip and lose it.
But like compared to a really good pit stop, it was almost 2 seconds. Like it was, you would have had to like have an all time for 2 seconds, but like at least a second and a half, at least a full second off. So like that makes a huge difference, right? So
yeah,
that must have been deflating. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like after that it was never, because it went from until that moment like, oh wow, Lewis is like odds on favorite probably to win this right now, and then after that pit stop it just never really got back, and then he seemed content maybe to get second. I don't know. But that was just as a Lewis fan. I kind of was a little bit deflated just not to see him with Perez and Leclerc be like, no, I'm the 7-time champ. Like, you're not going to pass me, whatever. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if it's necessarily that. I don't know. He could have just been wanting to play it safe. He's like, look, I would rather get a podium than potentially crash in my home race. Or, I mean, we saw Charles do that incredible overtake with a damaged car. So, I mean, maybe is it just that Red Bull and Ferrari are just still, like, even though Mercedes is definitively the third best car, are they still that far ahead of them that Lewis isn't able to push? According to Mercedes, they claim they now are either at or very near a race-winning car. So,
looks like it. Lewis could have very well won in that race. If George was in there in the mix too, that changes things as well.
100%. I think even if the pit stop had been the exact same time, I think if Lewis, I don't know, because Sergio, I mean, both
the safety car allowing Sergio back in is a game changer.
Yeah, it was. That was correct. That was a big deal. But also, the Red Bulls are extremely aggressive. Like, and I know Lewis of all people fucking know that, but. I was glad to see a podium, but I definitely think he could have pulled away with P2 if Carlos had not made that move when he did, and he just said, fuck you, Charles, fuck you, Ferrari, I want my win, which props to him for doing that. Takes some fucking balls to do that, and I love it. But if he hadn't have done that, Lewis would have placed higher, 100%.
Yeah, I think he was, he's playing the odds, playing it safe, which is boded well for him, if that makes sense, this whole career, so fair enough. But I think like the main takeaway in general from the race, other than just how amazing the racing itself was how like lucky we are going to be and how amazing the rest of the season is going to be if Mercedes is truly up there. Like if Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes all at the same time can be, we've said it all year, but it hasn't really happened. It's the first time we've sort of seen it happen, and obviously it was 5 of the 6, and George was out of the race, and Charles had a broken front wing and bad strategy, but still, like, we're going to be in for some amazing races if that's, so we're lucky just to have that if that is the case now. But we got to talk about Mick. Mick got his first points.
Yes,
finally.
he did.
But I'll let you take kind of the reins on this, because Max was just like, credit to Mick. It was sick to see him going for it, but I almost kind of wanted to be like, Mick, back off, like just take the points. And then Max was not giving him an inch. Max was like, I'm getting this extra point or two, whatever it is. Yeah. So credit to Mick. But did you think Max was like over the line there, or just that's Max?
I thought he was. I mean, there was like one of those last 2 corners where like he straight up almost pushed Mick off the track. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. And they said no investigation necessary. So I mean, they probably didn't want to make waves, but that's what's very disappointing to me. So is that we're definitely seeing that there is still bias, and that we're still not getting 100% fair, like stewards and decision making. But that's a whole separate issue. I was so happy to see Mick get points. Both Haas drivers getting points is fucking awesome. But yeah, Max was not giving in, dude. Like, and it's kind of interesting that we've seen Max and Mick fight 2 times now in the last 2 seasons, in both in the Red Bull and the Haas. So
really cool moment.
I mean, it's Max Verstappen. I'm not surprised, but I was shocked at Mick just being so gutsy. In my head, I was like, that is like, that's awesome. I mean, it did cost him points with his crash with Vettel, but it's still so impressive that I mean, he didn't even get 10th, you know? It's just extremely impressive. Haas is always going to be my favorite, like, not, I don't know how you put them.
Not competitive?
Not
like them and Williams,
yeah, like the non-front runners, I guess. Because I would say I like Haas more than like Alpine, if I'm being completely honest.
I do 100%.
We could do we've done so many episodes. Have we done a driver and team tier list?
I don't think we've done necessarily like a full tier list. We can maybe do that in the summer break.
Yeah, we could do something like that, because I was about to suggest that, but I'm like, I feel like
I think at the start we talked about like who our favorites or least favorites, but
yeah, I think we ranked the drivers
or
something.
List per se.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that might be cool. But yeah, props to Mick. That was super, super hype. I was so excited.
And also, honestly, props to Max for having such a beat up car and still finishing 7th. Like, pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, we've forgotten something. We kind of, like, this was a busy weekend. We just jumped in to the GP, but we forgot that Gotifi himself,
oh my god,
got into Q3.
He did. He sure did.
Miraculously.
That was unbelievable. I could not believe my eyes. I don't know where that came from, but good for him.
We may never see it again, but if this is his last year in Formula One, I'm so happy that he at least got to say he got into Q3. I mean, I'm not the biggest Latifi fan, but if he had at least placed 10th, I would have been like, fuck yeah. You know,
I wanted him to get a point. Move out of that.
I know.
Bottom of the barrel. Let's see.
He I mean, to his credit, he did a mega lap in quali.
Wait a second.
What?
I need you to go to the driver standings. Scroll right to the bottom. Scroll right to the bottom.
Oh shit!
It finally happened.
He did it, dude. Oh my god, he did do it. Good.
He got ahead of Nico Hülkenberg.
He is past Aston Martin's reserve driver, ex-Renault driver, Nico Hülkenberg.
2 races. He's got. It's a big step in the career of Nico. Mark this moment, 7:04 p.m., July 5th.
Oh my god, dude!
Good for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm gonna make that joke every single week now.
we can't keep making jokes about it.
Well, we'll see. But yeah. So I guess best and worst. I'll go first. My best, obviously aside from Zhou Guanyu being okay, would just be the whole Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc battle, unbelievable, and then a specific moment I would say when Lewis passed through, and just the call. There's an angle from that they overlaid the call with the crowd shot of it happening, and like they obviously went nuts in Silverstone because everyone there wanted to win. Yeah, that would be my best, and then my worst moment would be the Mercedes slow pit stop, because that was just gutting when it went from but as high as I've had all year to not as low, but low, but just not it was like, oh, we're gonna win, and then let's hopefully we can get a podium. So that's my best and worst. Let's hear yours.
Oh, gosh, worst is definitely Charles's strategy. Gotta be like at this point, because it's hard. It's so like it's so hard for me to say like I don't like Ferrari, because their two drivers are like my favorite. Two of my favorite drivers on the grid, but I don't know. I'm just so upset with them. They're not getting anything good for me this weekend. My best moment is, or just my best, or I guess I'll choose a specific moment for the best worst. The best moment I'm gonna say was Mick getting his points. Love that.
Yeah, his radio after was awesome too. With I believe it's his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
that was great.
Schumachers. Love to see it.
Yeah, no, that was great. Do you want to do your hard and soft then?
Sure. Let's see. My hard will go to Sergio, of course. He fought amazingly, and we didn't get to see him do until that awesome battle at the end. The whole time he was like charging through the midfield, we didn't see one overtake because of the TV direction. Not one. But whatever. Yeah, he gets my hard for sure. I love saying that every week. But excuse me. My soft is gonna go to Pierre Gasly.
Okay.
For somewhat causing the crash. It's not his fault, but it's more his fault than anybody else's, I think.
He almost killed a man, is what you're saying.
Yes. No.
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, my hard would go to Mick. First points, and then also just the way he went at it with Max on the last few laps there, like pretty ballsy. And then my soft will be split between George complaining, but the main one would be, and we haven't touched on this yet, is the protesters that somehow got onto the track on turn 1. And if not for the red flag, that could have been a disastrous scene. Like Bottas said he saw them on the track when he was coming around the corner. I don't know what could happen. I also don't know what I haven't even wanted to look up what they're like protesting against, because I don't think they went about it in the right way to get attention, like the right to attention. That was just a stupid idea. Like, you're just gonna end up like a bug on a windshield. Like, if they come around at 300 kilometers an hour, 200 kilometers an hour, whatever, like that's not gonna end well for anyone. You could like really severely hurt the drivers too, which nobody wants to see that. So yeah, that was just very, very strange. That kind of got picked up like in the aftermath while we're all like trying to figure out what happened to Zhou Guanyu. Like I started seeing on social media like, oh, there were protesters laying on the track on around whatever turn. Like, oh my God, that could have been really bad.
I know.
So
fate is a funny thing, and who knows if it's even real. But
yeah,
the
you gotta
fact
kind
that
of believe in something there. That's
I mean the fact that a red flag happened at the first corner when there were people charging the track. I mean, it's just it you can't write it. I mean, it writes itself. I also have no clue what they're protesting against. It's probably, I mean, it probably is just like oil
probably
or
carbon
fuel.
emissions or something like that.
Something like that.
Fuel emissions, whatever. Yeah.
I did say, or did see that the police chief, or I guess that's what it's called over there. I don't, but he said that they charged the track with glue.
Oh no!
So I guess
saw that in the NBA earlier this year. Like,
I guess they were planning to glue themselves to the track.
Well, a car coming around glue's not gonna save you.
Yeah, I think they were planning on. I don't know what their plan was, because I saw that somebody said that they were planning on like storming the track but not going onto the actual track, but like after the first lap of cars pass, then they would jump on the track, causing the race to be stopped or like, I don't know, but like
that's a pretty bold plan.
It is. It's fucking stupidity.
They got pretty far. I give them that, but I guess like you can, if you're willing to hop fences, like you can get there. It's just yeah, they went to jail. I think they're charged today with something, but that was
as they should.
As they absolutely should. But yeah, that's wild. Yeah, we have the Austrian GP next, the Red Bull Ring, which should be interesting. Hopefully, like as we mentioned, hopefully all three top teams can kind of battle for it. Let's see the times here. We got Friday prep P1 7:30. Oh, there's a sprint this weekend. Let's go.
For Austria?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was like, it says prep P1 qualifying. I'm like, what the hell's that? So yeah, we have qualifying on Friday then at 11 a.m. And then Saturday P2 6:30 a.m. Sprint 10:30 Saturday, and then the race 9 on Sunday. So sprint 10:30 Saturday, race 9 a.m. Sunday. I unfortunately think this is going to be a Max Verstappen weekend. I think he's going to dominate. It's called the Red Bull Ring. It's just coincidence, I guess, but it is in a coincidence. Like he just dominates there. I would like to see obviously Lewis or Charles win, but we'll see. I need an update though on your burger and what you think is going to happen in Austria.
I might need you to talk about one more thing when I'm done with this because I'm almost done and I want to finish this.
Okay.
But
predictions, then I'll talk about one more thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think unless he is struck with just some horrible, knock on wood, reliability issues, he's going to do exactly what he did last year. I just remember like 4 laps in last year, and he was already like 3 or 4 seconds ahead of of Lewis, I guess. I need to go back and rewatch the replay. It's been almost a year now, but he was gone. He was so far above anybody else at that track. So we'll likely see that, but could we see some? I mean, the reliability has completely thrown a wrench into this whole season, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope or if not, then hopefully Charles can get a little bit of redemption, or hopefully Lewis can get his first win of the season. I will say Austria has nothing to do with it being a Red Bull track, but it is my favorite track in the game. It's my favorite track to play. It's just the most fun track to me. Like if I could pick anytime I go over to my friend has like the wheel for the game. Anytime I go over there and play, I always pick Austria. It is just the most satisfying track to play for me. I don't know why. I just love it. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. I feel a little bit of ashamed of myself that I didn't know that there was a sprint, but like
I didn't either.
That's awesome. I'm so hyped. What a weird track for a sprint.
It's going to be like, because it's such a like small track kind of, so it's going to be very tightly packed. Yeah, I'm trying to think. All right, I got something I can talk about. Let's see how much you got left there. This thing's going to be looking disgusting right about now. Oh, not too much. So I came across a new term on social media this weekend for F1 that it's one of my new favorite terms for F1. I haven't really broke it out yet, so I don't know how it's going to sound coming out of my mouth, but I've seen it a lot when people say dumb things about F1. People just respond, "You don't know wheel." And I don't know why. But just that, you don't know wheel. Bro, you don't know wheel. I really want to start saying that to people, but we'll see.
I'm fucking dying.
just rolls off the tongue. You don't know wheel. Yeah. So next time someone says something about Lewis, I'm just gonna start replying on Twitter to everyone with that. You don't know wheel. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All
dude,
right.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. So any closing comments from you as you I'll let you finish your last few bites, and then I'll read through the socials here while you do your last few bites. Please follow us on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out on a lot of the humor behind the words. I didn't know how to say that. Anyways, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, Harder Soft F1 podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Harder Soft F1. Adrian has just finished his burger challenge that he made a lot worse for himself than it really had to be, because I would have enjoyed eating a nice McDonald's burger. But as you hear the crinkling, he has finished. Adrian, any last thoughts? And sign us out of here. Sign us off.
I was way too sober to eat that.
Yes.
I still don't like McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't think that would make anyone, that particular sandwich would make anyone
No.
like McDonald's.
And I wanted it to be hard on myself because just a cheeseburger or a hamburger, I wanted it to be entertaining for the people.
Right.
Because I hate onions. I don't like pickles. I mean, they always load that shit up with extra mayo. It's disgusting. And I just ate it. And I feel like shit. But I feel great about this podcast. But yes, that's it. We'll sign off. We're a little over an hour now. So yeah, that's it. Oh, Michael Schumacher's teammate was Rubens. Rubens
Barrichello.
But yeah, Rubens Barrichello.
There you go. You got that. Had to get that in.
I had it behind Skype, so I completely forgot about it. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. He told you our socials. Go follow us. And yeah, we'll see you next week for our off season. Oh wait,
Austria
is this weekend?
Yeah, we got back to back.
I am fucking slacking. I suck. You should follow to see how much more I continue to suck.
Okay, let me make 100% sure. Yeah, 8th to 10th of July. That's this weekend.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah.
I thought we were in an off
We heard
week.
that.
I've got to
bro.
start
Next week. You don't know Wheel?
Let's go.
Oh, you had to freeze right when I got that line off? Come on.
Yeah.
Hold on a second here. Frozen again. It's not cool. Guy freezes right when I give my line. Still frozen. Alright, well, I'll sign us off here. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk to you after Austria, and hopefully he unfreezes soon. Nope. He's gone. Alright, talk to you next week, guys.